Welcome everybody, welcome to the Tomb of Illumination. Everything is based on physics, flat earth, other sciences, myths, legends, cultural beliefs here. Like you'll get nowhere else. Only YouTube channel in the world that will give you the truth and how I can correlate it with everything else, all the facts, they're all there. Now, today's video is about the story Noah's Ark. Now, how many people out there still believe that some old guy built a boat and put all these animals on it and all those animals replenished the earth? Well, no doubt there are those loonies out there that do believe that story. The whole Bible is a spiritual tale. It's metaphorical, and it's basically coded, really, and you have to seek to find the truth. I've got the information regarding the Noah's Ark and the 2x2 animals, okay? So first of all, you have to understand the flat earth system, because you don't understand anything if you think you live on a spinning ball. Now, see this model here? It was created by a couple of my subscribers down there in Wellington, the Gray brothers. They put together this system because they listen to what I tell them, and they've come up with the model. There's the centre northern hemisphere, and the southern hemisphere moves around it. Constantly moving around it because the northern hemisphere is constantly turning. That's how the flat earth system works. You're not going to get that in science, are you? No. Well, look what happens when it turns. Oh, look, there's an alignment. 2x2. So you could say this is the Milky Way, okay? Because this is what happens in the holy season after Sirius has come up from the eastern horizon. The Milky Way can, at a time of the evening, usually around midnight or 3 o'clock, midnight to 3 o'clock somewhere, there will be a straight line. The Milky Way will turn up as a straight line across your zenith. It's zenith of your arc of horizon. You have to understand that as well. So there's an alignment. There's a 2x2. Well, these are all the constellations in here. And what are constellations made up of? Mostly animals. So 2x2, look, now it's his alignment. It's not his or his. It's only his. That's his alignment. This is how the stars work. All the constellations move around our flat earth system. Now it's come down to this guy's alignment. Now this guy's alignment. This guy's alignment. This guy's. This is how Earth works. 2x2. Because each hemisphere has its own pattern. There's one in the northern hemisphere, one in the southern hemisphere, and they align up 2x2. This is man's hour. When that happens, that is man's hour. When this Milky Way lines up dead zenith, because he's always standing 90 degrees to his zenith of his arc of horizon, that's man's perspective of the universe. And our arc of horizon is basically our firmament that surrounds man. So you could say we're the centre of the universe. And we are. Because there's nothing beyond your arc of horizon. Visually, till you move, and your arc moves with you, you're always 90 degrees to its zenith. So you're moving through this conscious realm. Just move along here, look, see? 2x2. Two constellations marrying into each other. The animals, 2x2. Noah's Ark. The whole flood story is involving a spiritual event on a man. So when he reaches it's man's hour, if his chakras are aligned, if he's in tune, mind and body, he will raise his soul. That's how you raise your soul. but it's an alignment. It's a spiritual, it's a celestial alignment, as well as a psychological arrangement, physiological too maybe, and it involves the celestial bodies in alignment, namely the moon, and the moon will be full, and the full moon will be in this Milky Way at the same time as the sun, because the sun is always in the Milky Way. It's tucked into the Milky Way, and the Milky Way moves around the Earth 360 degrees over 24 hours. It's faster than all the other celestial bodies. It comes around and catches the full moon, overlays it. They're both in the tomb together. It's man's hour. Now, if he is tuned and his celestial alignment occurs in his moon sign, the moon sign it was in at his conception, that thing before physical birth, then he will go through his own flood. He will be awoken. He has his one-off feminine period where he will shed blood. And this is the two claustrum in the brain. They part ways. The skin tears, and then it bleeds. And then the brain fluid floods through that gap. Just say brain fluid flows through there and mixes with the blood. And that gets flushed through your system over 30 minutes. Remember, Jesus came and gone. Came at 30, gone by 33. 30 minutes. Well, it flushes through your body. It comes back up and enlightens the frontal lobe. That's why you see the Ararat, the Egyptians have left us. It stimulated the frontal lobe. Now he becomes a king, God-like. All because of the celestial alignment. No one on earth has ever told you this. It's a one-off. You'd think I'd have millions or billions of subscribers, but no. It just doesn't go anywhere because the Freemasons like to hide all this information. They don't want you knowing you live on a flat earth system, and that's how it works. You can't debunk it. Anybody in the southern hemisphere can see this. Northern hemisphere could be a bit tricky for you. But if you're in the southern hemisphere, it's quite easy. I can give anybody guidance into finding the truth, the facts. Behind this board is the most revealing information ever told or that would ever be shown to man. Physicists, scientists, theologians, Egyptologists, religious people, it's all here. All here. But do you think anybody wants to pay for it? It's worth, if it was put in a book, it'd be worth millions and millions of dollars. So it looks like I'm going to have to wait and put it in a book. I'm not a writer, so it's going to take a lot of time. So everyone's going to have to wait now. Because no one was prepared. I'm not giving it. I'll save for a book now, so you'll have to wait. But what's in here correlates with all this. It all adds up. You know, this video, this story is going to make Graham Hancock or Eric von Donigan or whatever his name was seem like children to you. This is mind-blowing. Okay? Trust me, it's mind-blowing. So there you have it, everybody. The spiritual flood. It's not a physical flood. The Mount Ararat, the ship left high and dry on Mount Ararat when the water receded, is your pineal gland coming out of water, because your pineal gland is flooded in water. And you know, if you understand a few of the mythological stories, you know, beneath the Great Pyramid there's water, and down somewhere down there, whether it's that one, Khufu or not, the water's electrified, and there's a tomb, a sarcophagus down in that water. And I've said in a past video, when the world wakes up, that water will recede. You'd think it might have done that already, considering the Nile's being jerked around so much. You know, it's probably one of the biggest errors we've made in history is to dam the Nile. So you've got the Aswan Dam, and now you've got the one the Ethiopians are doing. Is it the Ethiopians? You know how much it's going to screw the earth? Our whole earth is basically constructed around the Nile. I know exactly why Cairo is at its position on the map. Nobody else does. Egypt is such a divine place in our whole existence, and we're screwing it, and we're going on about climate change and all that, yet no human out there's got a brain enough to understand what's really going on. There's a recycling system on Earth, and if we tap into that fresh water that's coming through the aqueducts, we could screw the whole ecosystem. But messing with the Nile River is probably the number one cause of our downfall. So you have to realise, even these weather forecasts, what do you call them? Forget the name. They're telling us, you know, because Northern Hemisphere's had a dry season, all the fires and that, we're probably going to get it in the south. But you have to understand that the northern field and the southern hemispheres, they don't cross. Sure, the ocean floats across, but the tides don't cross, the winds don't cross, the magnetic field does not cross. It goes along the ground, it does, but it doesn't cross the tropics. So you're frying up there in the north, thanks to what you're doing in the Nile. But out here in the south, we're more widely dispersed. We've got a different climate, totally different. So whatever happens here would happen on a weaker scale, I'd say, because we're more dispersed. You've got to realise the northern hemisphere, like I've just shown in that model, is compact, contracted into the centre. All the energy's in the centre. The southern field, all the way around the perimeter of it, the circumference, is the same amount of energy as what's in there. But imagine how weak it is per magnetic cycle ratio. You know? So we're fine. You're frying yourselves up there by letting your governments dam all that water. Why are they damming all that water? Is the population growing? I don't think so. We've got a massive deficit. There's more people dying than being bred in most countries, I think. In the Western world anyway. Apparently the BRICS nations are having a few more kids now, but in the Western world that's, you know, run by these Freemasons, they're declining. It's like 1.3 children per couple. That's not much to sustain society, unless everything is going to run on, you know, artificial intelligence. Anyway, that's the flood story. Human flood, the claustrum, they open up, man's feminine aspect is losing his spiritual virgin birth, his virgin birth. He's losing his virginity, his feminine side, losing his feminine side virginity. It's this one-off feminine aspect. But with that comes the fact that he is reunited with his lost feminine half. Because when we come into the physical world, we are separated. We are now a dual system, two entities, a male and a female. We've come from singularity, male and female, the hermaphrodite. The sun is the hermaphrodite because the two Milky Ways have come together, bang, becomes the hermaphrodite. So you could say an enlightened man becomes a hermaphrodite for a short period. So he does gain a bit of sensitivity during his enlightenment, but it doesn't stay there. This is the golden hermaphrodite in the mythological stories, the sun. The sun gives birth with his semen, apparently the story goes, because the sun is tucked into the Milky Way. So this is due to the solar eclipse. So that's when they get it on. The solar eclipse is the moon goes right into the sun. That's when they get it on in September, prior to September. And then, yeah, that's August, and then comes September, in the 5 holy days, the moon, the sun races out, leaves the moon behind, then catches up again when the moon's full moon. Comes around and catches the full moon. The Milky Way comes around, catches the full moon at the back of it. That's when the moon gives birth, spiritual birth to the man. That's when he goes through this divine flood. That's his Passover. That's the alignment, the Passover. The Milky Ways, the solar eclipse, are a bit different. And the whole divine story in the Bible, which is all about the flood story in Noah, is the Virgin Mary, Virgo. The solar eclipse is in Virgo. It's written, thousands of years of information comes down to the last minute. The sun and moon are in Virgo. The solar eclipse on the cusp of Leo and Virgo. 29 degrees Leo, it's written, and it happened thousands of years later. Spoken a lot about this. And then 17 days later, the full moon gives birth on exactly the same time as it's written in the Bible. A real story of what actually happens to a man on earth. It's all about his divine awakening, and yet no one's figured it out till I came along. So anyways, share the good news. What the 2x2 is, the animals on the ark, 2x2, ark, man's ark of horizon. He only sees 180 degree arc all over him, but it's 360 degrees all around him. And it's a zenith, which is these 2 points where they line up, right there. Well, consider that dark part his ark. Ark, Noah's ark. 2x2 onto the ark. Does that make sense? If it doesn't make sense to you, you're flipping. There's no hope. I'm telling you. Get that out. Share it, everybody. People need to wake up. Okay. If you like this information, think about joining my Patreon. Base rate's $3.50 American. You want to step it up, $10, or go to $20. But if you just want to support me, $3.50 a month, you get all the videos before they go public, and I share information with inside the community that I don't say out there. So yeah, so if you like this sort of stuff, put a likes up, because it's going nowhere on YouTube. It's just a joke. So that's why I want to bring people into Patreon. We'll just build our own community, okay? Because it's not being spread out there. People are moaning that I'm charging. I've called to create a Patreon. So, you know, here I am creating stuff that's going nowhere and getting nothing for it. So I'm creating nothing, going nowhere. Over here, I'm creating something because I'm giving it to someone who's paying me for it. So I'm creating something and getting something. Over here, doing nothing, getting nothing. And they're wondering why I don't want to keep doing this. I mean, if it was going somewhere, fair enough, but it's not really going anywhere. So it encourages me to do better, and I'm actually doing something over here. There I feel like I'm doing nothing. But, you know, people who can't afford to pay $3.50 a month, you know, people you don't really want to deal with, to find the truth. $3.50 a month to be told the truth. They want me to keep doing nothing for nothing. You know. You know what I mean. Thanks, guys.